Oh my God. Hi. I didn't see you there. It's been a minute. I was, how you say, busy. I'm back now. Before we talk about where I was, I just recently got a package from, I don't know who it's from. Well, technically, it's from the tennis people. It's from New York. So it's from the Fanatics Fest in New York. The tennis people sent me a package. So let's look at what's inside. All right, let's see what the tennis people sent me. It was, I think it's a giveaway. I keep saying tennis people. I should know who they actually are. But it's a giveaway they were doing at Fanatics Fest. Obviously a lot of people were traveling, so they couldn't just hand you big tennis stuff and then you have to fly with it. So they actually were nice enough to ship it out to people. Oh, okay, it's Red Ball. Yes, I forgot. Okay, so, yo, what? All right, so first we have Red Ball tennis balls. There should be 2 of them in here. I wonder if they're red. That would be cool. Nope, just yellow. Red Ball tennis. It would be cool if they were red. But 2 tennis balls in the box. And then, yo, I can't believe they shipped this. And then we got 2 tennis rackets. I don't even play tennis. Well, I'm about to play tennis. 2 Red Ball tennis rackets. They're very lightweight, very lightweight. And then the 2 rackets, 2 balls. I guess we'll have to learn how to play tennis. That's not the topic of this video, but maybe the topic of the next video will be learning how to play tennis. Because now we have 2 tennis rackets and tennis ball. Thank you, Red Ball, for sending these out. They were giving them away at Fanatics Fest in New York. I got 2 tennis racket and some tennis balls, and that's kind of cool. Oh. That was an amazing catch. Can we all agree? So you might be wondering, dude, where have you been? I've been out of the country, taking a little break from making videos because I went through some personal life stuff, which I will not be talking about. But right after, I had 2 trips lined up. One to Korea with my best friend, and the other one was to London to see family. I've been out of the country for basically a month. I got back and went straight to work and dealing with life. I haven't had time to do 2 things. Number 1 is talk to you guys. What's up, fam? Hope it's good to be back on camera. Also, do you see all of this? That is new lens. I bought the new lens to take with me to the trips and make vlogs with. However, the aforementioned personal life stuff. Anyways, we're using the new lens. It's a wide, it's beautiful, it has autofocus, it gives the entire room, and it gets me in it. Today's video is gonna be me, number 1, cleaning my room, B, going through the small mini hauls of both the Korea and the UK, and then finally telling you guys about my trip because I had a good time. All right, so I'm gonna start by doing my bed. I feel like that's a good place to start when your room is a mess. You want to make sure your bed is, you know. So I was in Korea from the middle of July till about the end of July. I went to Seoul and we flew from here, from St. Louis to Atlanta, and then from Atlanta we took a 16-hour flight. I'm gonna level with you guys for a little bit. If your flight is ever canceled or moved last second, do not take a longer flight. So we were supposed to initially fly to Salt Lake City, and from Salt Lake City we were then meant to fly to Seoul, which was a 2.5-hour flight to Salt Lake City, and then an 11-hour flight to Seoul. It turned into a 2-hour flight to Atlanta, and then a 16-hour flight where we flew back over St. Louis to Korea. We didn't know better. You live, you learn, you grow. Do not take a 16-hour flight anywhere. It is exhausting. The bed is made. I'm gonna start folding laundry. Okay, as you can see, the chair is full of clothes and we have to fold them all. So let's do that. So we arrived in Korea and we had an Airbnb, which was really, really nice. It's crazy because we were like kind of in disbelief that we were even going or like getting there. And then what happened was that we ended up running into some dude at the airport who's Korean, mind you, barely speaks English. And I noticed that he had a Zion case, which, if you didn't know, the metal Zion cases are like cases that you put like sports cards in them or Pokemon cards. And I was like, and he had Pokemon stickers on him too. So I was like, oh my God, dude, like this guy has a Zion case with Pokemon stickers. He probably has Pokemon cards. And the guy heard me and was like, with broken English, was like, do you want to see the cards? And I was like, heck yeah. So we just landed, went through security, we're sitting at baggage claim, and we just run into this dude who has Pokemon cards, and he shows me his like Charizard, Poncho, Pikachu card, some other like really sick Pokemon and like sick Charizard cards and a couple Pikachus. He had a decent collection. I would not have flown with what he had, just in case. But he seemed happy. He showed it off. It was actually such an insane like experience to like, that wasn't even day one. It was technically day 0, because when we arrived on Thursday, we arrived right at like 2 p.m. but the train that takes you from the airport, which is on its own island, it's about 45 to an hour to get to Seoul, and then we had to get to our Airbnb. So for us, it was like we would get to the Airbnb right around 4. We wanted to rest up, take showers, eat snacks, and then get some sleep early. That way we can start our day full on Friday. So after we arrived to our Airbnb, we were like, well, we want to get some dinner. So we looked up a spot that was to the side of our building. So like our building was, so you leave the front main entrance of the building, you walk down like a block to the right, and then you go into one of the alleys to the right, and there's just this little place that is like a Korean barbecue place. And we walked in and we were like, again, we barely speak Korean. Barely is even being generous. I know how to say 3 words, and I lied. I know how to say 2 words. I think I also lied. I know how to say 1 word, and it's 감사합니다. It means thank you. So 감사합니다 for watching. I'll just cry. We walk in and we're like, still like insane the fact that we're there and that we're like doing this. And so we're like trying to order, and we're basically just like pointing at the menu. We're using our Google Lens to translate the menu, and we're like, oh, we want this, we want that. And so we order like a hot pot with beef in it, and then Korean omelet, the one with like the little ketchup on top, and it was delicious. And what was really cool is that they were so hospitable. It's as if you walked into their home, and they were like so nice and so generous. She stood there and literally like taught us how to like eat. She basically gave us the seaweed and like was like, you put the rice on it. Obviously she's just showing us like physically, because we don't understand the language. And so, you know, we pay, we leave, we're going crazy. We go to a place called the Lotte Mart. If you guys ever been to Korea or know anything about Korea, you know that Mr. Lotte has his fingers in everything in Korea. So Lotte Mart, Lotte World, Lotte Mall, Lotte Tower, his name is on everything. He's kind of like the Bezos of like Korea, where he's just like doing everything. Mr. Lotte, we go to Lotte Mart, and it's like a Walmart, but much nicer. If you've ever lived outside of America, it reminds me of like Carrefour was like, Carrefour, I don't know how to say it, the French place, but this was better still. It was just really organized, and there's people giving you samples, and then there's a second floor where like it's the home stuff, like whether you want some like small little furniture here and there, or like toys or school supplies. And then they had a separate section for like tech and whatnot. It was very, very clean, very organized. So we just went with the intention of A, checking it out, and then B, we wanted to eat snacks. We wanted to buy some snacks. That way we have something. And so we grabbed some snacks, went back to our hotel, and went to bed. Because we went to bed at like 9 p.m. on the first day. Honestly, it was well needed, because it really did like kind of fix our jet lag before we even got jet lagged, like, because we went to bed so early. When we woke up the next morning, we were just ready to start our day. All right, so Friday morning when we woke up, we decided to go to Itaewon, and Itaewon is an area with a lot of Arabs and a lot of Muslims. And the main reason why we wanted to go to Itaewon is because we wanted to go to the mosque for Friday prayer. So we went to Itaewon, we walked around. We actually, before that, we went to the War Museum. It was on the way to Itaewon. So we took the train to the War Museum. We We checked it out. It was super cool, full of history. We got to see like a Korean warship and like a lot of Korean like war tactics, and then we saw like the memorial for like the Korean War, and then we also saw like all the like recent history of like the beef between North and South Korea. Beef is a crazy word for me to use in this instance. We got to see all of that and kind of like explore the history, and then we went to Itaewon. We prayed. I will say it was so hot in Korea. The heat was insane. Like absolutely insane. Wait, I just remembered. At the beginning of the day, we wanted to go get coffee before we even went to the museum or the Itaewon. We wanted to get breakfast and coffee, and so we walked to this cafe, and it was like about a mile walk. So we walked for like 15-20 minutes. We got to this cafe because a lot of cafes in Korea open a little later, so this was the only one that opened that early. So we walk in, we order. Fun fact, great coffee, great bagel. It was $2 for both the coffee and the bagel, and the place had borrow from the place like portable chargers and stuff, that way you could charge your devices. Like everything was so nice. She had an English menu too, which like we were looking at the Korean menu. I was about to pull my phone and translate, and she was like, do you guys read Korean? I was like, no. She was like, English menu, here you go. And so we order, we drink our coffee, we're sitting down, and it starts raining, and as we're leaving, she comes up to us and she's like, you guys not have an umbrella? And we were like, no. And she was like, well, good luck, because it was drenched raining, and we had to walk about a mile back from the coffee shop all the way back to our Airbnb in the drenching rain. When I tell you, my hat, my shoes, my shirt, my pants, everything was drenched. Luckily, we had a washer and a dryer in the Airbnb. So we ended up doing laundry a lot more than expected, again, because it was really hot in Korea and very humid, so you sweat a lot more than you expected. So after we got to Itaewon, we did the Friday prayer. It was very, very spiritual, and then we left the prayer, and then we looked. The mosque was like on top of the mountain, so when we left, we kind of just took our time to like look at the mountain and like look at the views, because it was very pretty. And I will be overlaying pictures from the trip as I'm doing this, because I don't want you to just be staring at me folding clothes the entire time. That's kind of boring. So we literally like, yeah, we had an amazing view. And it was like a good moment. And that's when like I FaceTimed my brother. I was like, yo, you gotta look at this. This is amazing. And then we walked down the mountain and got Arab food. We walked into a Gucci store before going into the restaurant, and we walked out pretty quickly because they were so nice, so well dressed, and we were like in our little vacation clothes with our little baggies. It was just not our place, if I'm being honest. After that, we went and had Arab food, and it was quite delicious. I ordered mendi, which is a Yemeni dish where they kind of like cook the rice in a very smoky way, chicken, and my friend ordered mensef, which is a Jordanian Palestinian dish. It uses, we call it like jamid in Arabic. I don't know what it's called in English, but it's like this like oily, cheesy, saucy thing. Like it's a white sauce type with also rice, but lamb instead. And neither of us could finish the food because it was a lot. The place was super generous with the portion size, but we asked him to take it takeaway, and they kind of weird. I feel like they don't do that in Korean culture, is to like take the food to go. So they kind of like, they were like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, like I want it to go because it's still like half the meal is still there. They shrunk wrapped it. They put it in a container and then covered it up, and then like literally like air sealed the food, and that was super cool. That was impressive to me. Don't know why I was so impressed, but I was. After that, we walked around Itaewon. It's such a big market. Like I said, a lot of Arab food, a lot of Arab stores, but also a lot of like shopping in general because it's a nicer area. And so people were shopping, people were buying, people were doing all kinds of stuff. Eventually, we got to walk all the way to the Samsung Museum of Art, which was also a really nice experience. The art itself, in my opinion, felt a little lacking just because, like, I mean, okay, it's a free museum, so I can't be upset. It was free, the presentations was amazing, but it was just a lot of pots and pans. Like, let's be real. We walked around, the building itself was really cool. It was, the architecture on the building was amazing. We walked around. After that, we went back to our hotel room. That's when we had to refresh, because again, super hot. super humid. So we had to go back, take showers, and then go out for the night. So after Itaewon, we went back to our Airbnb, and then we went to Myeongdong Market, which is very touristy. It's very, very bright. It has like the really big 15-floor Daiso. It's got like food carts everywhere, all kinds of stuff. And that was the place we went to. Unfortunately, we didn't spend a lot of time in Myeongdong Market because I really, really needed to go back to the Airbnb to use the restroom, and it was getting kind of late, so we kind of just went back and then slept early, semi-early again. And it wasn't until Saturday that we started going out pretty late. For Saturday morning, we went out again to the market. We got more snacks. We got some stuff that we needed, like, little essentials here and there for the Airbnb, stuff we didn't have. And then we went back to Hongdae. For the first time, we went to Hongdae in the morning. So we went and kind of walked around, toured the place, went and shot some arrows, which was a ton of fun. I think there's a focus in Korea about like activities as opposed to just like shopping alone. Like, yeah, shopping is an integral part of like all these locations. However, they also have like a focus on doing activities, which is like, like they have karaoke and they have arcades and they have places where you can shoot airsoft weapons. And then what we did was shooting bows and arrows, and I actually hit a bullseye, and I'm very proud of it. And then we kept walking around Hongdae. We did some shopping. I bought some pants. I bought some pants from Adidas. They were F1 pants. At the main Hongdae Nike store, we actually did some custom clothing. They do that like at the Nike stores. You could do like a lab thing where you pick the clothing item and then you kind of put like whatever sticker you want on it. So I'll show you like this. I did the hat. It has Nike in Korean on the front. The Nike logo is built in, and then I got this stamp on the side that says Nike Hongdae, and it has like the, I guess, latitude and longitude of the actual like store. There we go. Does that look better? Will this fit? I think it does. Yeah, so this is the hat I got from Nike Hongdae. I also got a t-shirt, so it's white tee with a little Nike Hongdae mail stamp, and then on the back it has 2 Hongdae skateboards, which is cool. And then I got a matching sweats with my friend, and that's them right here. So again, the Nike, I really like this stamp. I don't know why. And then on this side, it got the little Korean heart, Korean heart. And then what else did I put on here? Once again, the stamp to match the hat. And then finally on the butt, I have a little Hongdae bracelet with, like, again, the coordinates of the actual Hongdae store. So I got those sweats. And then I told you I got pants from Adidas. They were F1 pants. They're kind of nicer, like dressier, like maybe golf pants is what I would call them. And then on the little side right here, it just says Adidas Mercedes team pants, because we like F1 here. I don't know if you noticed all the F1 stuff all over the place, but yeah, we like F1 here. We started our day pretty late. We slept in, but it was fine for us because a lot of the stuff happens later at night. We ended up walking a lot and like riding the bus a lot. After that, shopping and everything, we ended up going to an internet cafe, which is something I have not experienced in about a decade because we don't have those here in the US. We went to an internet cafe, specifically a gaming internet cafe. They had full-on gaming PCs, monitors, and stuff like that with like nice air headphones and everything. And we played some Valorant. I'm not ashamed to admit it that I needed to play Val. The problem with us playing Valorant is the fact that you couldn't play on Korean servers because you had a US account, and you couldn't make a Korean account because you need Korean license to do that. And there was a way to work around it, but I just we had a couple hours to play, and I just played with really high ping and lost. After that, we went and found a little restaurant, and we had tteokbokki, and it was so good. It was so good. If there is one thing right now that I miss about Korea, is the food. I wish I could go back and eat food at the prices that Korea has them at, because when I tell you, you could have the nicest meal ever and it would be so affordable. It's insane because everything was so delicious and yet very affordable, and that's the kind of stuff that boggles my mind. Next morning, we went to a different market by accident. So we were walking we wanted to get breakfast. So we wanted to go to somewhere called like Isaac's Eggs or Isaac's Sandwiches. And it's a place that makes egg sandwiches. Breakfast is not really a big thing in like Korean culture. So like it's hard to find breakfast places specifically. So we were just walking around. We ran into a Tim Hortons, which I had to get Timmy Hortons coffee. And then we went to a place called like the Camera District, in which we kind of just like, it's just a bunch of camera stores, and I almost spent money, but I didn't. Luckily for me, I did not spend any money. We kept walking around. We found this like covered, it's not really covered, but like it's got like tents, like giant big tents, this covered market. And we walked around, and I actually found a place that sells Pokemon cards, and I bought some, and we filmed a TikTok. So that's on the TikTok. Go follow me on TikTok, by the way. It's albazi.fahad, so ALBAZI period FAHAD on TikTok. I upload here and there. We just had one of our TikToks actually hit over 100,000 views, which is the first time anything I've ever made hit a 6-digit number. So thank everyone for the support. We just hit over 300 followers on TikTok, and hopefully we can get 300 subscribers on this channel relatively soon. We're at like 249, I think 247, something like that. So please, if you're not subscribed and you're enjoying the content and you like my very unlikable personality, please drop a subscribe, because I will be trying to upload more. Matter of fact, I can't really be saying much because plans are plans, but I will be making a short film again this year for the St. Louis Public Library Short Film Festival, which, if you didn't know, I won last year. So not to brag, all right, everybody, calm down. I'll sign whatever you want. I got the Sharpie, not to brag. But we will be making a short film, and it will be uploaded on YouTube when the time is right for it to be uploaded on YouTube, amongst other videos that I have in the works. I'm back on my grind, and I'm loving it. After the market, we decided to just walk around. Our plan for Saturday was to go to Seoul Tower, and we wanted to go at a time where like we could still see it in the morning, but also see it at night and during sunset. So it's kind of like it was early enough to where the sun is still out, but not so early that like we couldn't stay at the tower till sunset. So we went up, we were walking around, and we randomly ran into this really cool mall. It was kind of like unexpected. We just walked out of the market and we saw a building, and bam, it was like, hey, do you want to walk into this mall? And we did. When you first walk in, the first store you see is the Rolex store. I did not buy a Rolex, if that occurred to anybody. No, I did not buy a Rolex, but we did walk around the mall. We got to see like some Korean exclusive Vans merch, Korean exclusive Adidas merch, and then we did the biggest mistake we did the entire trip. There was, at the top level of this mall, a restaurant that was Michelin recommended. It was Michelin recommended for like 10 years in a row. We're in Korea, we're balling, let's check it out. Let's try it. It was so disappointing. It was so bad for absolutely no reason. Like, it wasn't like the service was great, the vibes were good, the food was just so bland. Like, there was nothing special about it. Matter of fact, I couldn't even finish my meal because it just didn't feel delicious. We went in and it just was not good. And so the meal was kind of disappointing, but we were like, it's fine. There's plenty of other food to be had. So we walk around and we're like, okay, we see North Tower, or it's not called North Tower. It's called like Nassam Seoul Tower. So we see the Seoul Tower and we're like, all right, we're just gonna start walking in its direction. It's on top of a mountain. And we're like, do we really want to climb a mountain, or do we want to just take the bus there or the train? Luckily, in our extravagant adventure and our mindset of we just ball and we just go with the flow, we ended up at the bottom of where the like cable cars are that take you up to the tower. Somehow magically we were there, so we stood in line, got on the cable car, and then went all the way up to the tower. Then we walked the rest. It was insane. The views were amazing, the vibes were immaculate. It was so nice. It didn't even matter that it was hot, truthfully. We walked into the tower, went up, we paid the ticket. I think it was like 20,000 won to get up the tower, which is like 15 bucks. Was it? It's something like that, where it's like $15. We got up the tower, we toured it a few times. We waited for it to get dark. They had a little cafe at the tower, so we had like a little coffee. I think I got like a mocha chocolatey thing. And so like we just sat there, and I think that was the moment that it clicked with us that we're actually there. Being at the top of the Seoul Tower on a little table by the window, drinking our coffee, watching the entirety of Seoul as the sun sets. It was surreal, and it's still kind of, now that I'm like looking back at it, it's still kind of surreal. We took our time. I think we were there for like 3 hours. I'm not even joking. We took our sweet time going down the tower. We took a lot of pictures, and then we decided we don't want to stand in line for the cable car, so let's walk down the entire mountain. On one hand, exhausting because it was a mountain that we're climbing down, and there was a bunch of bugs, and it was humid and hot, and you know, bugs love heat and humidity, so they were out and about playing and frolicking about. I'm so happy that we did it because it was exactly what it needed to be. It was a moment of like peaceful, just walking, fresh air at like 9 p.m. on, or like, I actually think by the time we actually got down the mountain, it was like 10:30 p.m. and then we still had to take like transportation back to our Airbnb. All right, we wake up Monday morning and we're ready to go to Gangnam, the city of Gangnam. Everybody knows the city of Gangnam, Oppa Gangnam style, baby. All right, I kind of stopped cleaning, so I'm gonna get back to that, and I'll tell you about the city of Gangnam. So we got to Gangnam, and we went to the Starfield Library. If you don't know, is this giant, beautiful public library that's inside a mall. Obviously, we didn't go there to read. We literally just went there to take pictures. In the mall, we had dinner. We had a quick snack. It wasn't like a dinner. It was like, we just literally bought like a single side dish. It was ramen. Like, it was a quick to make ramen with like a slice of cheese on top of it. And I'm not even complaining because it was delicious and can't even be mad at it. It was great. And then we got to see the famous like Gangnam statue of like the hand, and they were playing the song Gangnam Style on a loop. It kept playing over and over again, so we had to walk away. And then when we walked away, we got to like the music hall of like the big famous like concert hall where like a lot of people perform, and they had like a wall with a bunch of like hand stamps of like all the different K-pop artists, and that was cool. We continued on walking. We somehow ran into a Buddhist temple, like a giant Buddhist temple. So you walk in at first, there's a bunch of like flowers, and then you walk through the flowers and you get to this place where it's all covered with like little paper. I would assume it's like prayers. After that, we walked in to the back where like there's the giant statue of Buddha and people were praying. It felt interesting because like obviously that's not the faith I subscribe to. It still kind of felt spiritual and like very respectful, and like the place itself was super calming and peaceful. And I think it's because like everybody was just like minding their business, just doing their thing. No one was loud or anything, and it was very, very peaceful. And we kind of just spent a little bit of time there, not like we didn't linger there, but I think we spent like 10 or 15 minutes just kind of like chilling and like reflecting on the fact that we're there. After that, we went back to our Airbnb, refreshed again. We had to do multiple moments of like, we have to refresh. So we went back to the Airbnb a handful of times. After that, we decided to go out at night again to go to Hongdae one more time at night. We did, my buddy did his Nike order at the time because he was waiting on people to respond to him. I feel like I'm yapping. So we went back to Hongdae, hung out, checked out. There were people doing live performances, dancing on the street. Honestly, like we didn't really do much except for like just walk around. That was like enough for us. We walked around, we had snacks. We tried to like check out some stores for shopping. We didn't really want to buy much because we still had other stuff to check out. The next morning, we decided to go down to Lotte Mall and then Lotte Tower, which, if you did not know, is the 6th highest skyscraper in the world. So we decided to go all the way up. We walked in the Lotte Mall, which was giant. It had a lot of shopping, of course, checked out the stores, then went all the way up. We spent a good amount of time there as well, because it was like 4 different floors of the Lotte, like top of the Lotte Tower. So the first floor had like the fake glass. Actually, I think it's 3 floors. The first floor had like, not fake glass, but like the glass floor where you can walk up to it and then you see basically your doom right underneath. The second one had like a patio where you can step out, feel the fresh air up there. Obviously, it wasn't like anything too crazy. A wall of glass and like it's not like a balcony. It's like a room that like had an open ceiling. And then the third floor had a little cafe where we got some refreshing drinks after being absolutely terrified at the top of the tower. Then we went back down to the mall, and at that point we were hungry, and they had a Gordon Ramsay burger, and it was quite the delicious experience. And then we spent kind of the rest of the day walking around the mall and then walking around the outside of the mall, which it was kind of right near the Olympic Village. So we got to see a lot of like the stuff they did for the Olympics, which is like all the flags on the poles, like the street lights had all the different country flags. We had to go back to the Lotte Mall the next morning, and you might be wondering why. Well, you guys were just there. Well, it's because when we went to the Lotte Mall, we found out that they had a prayer room. And so we decided it's time to pray, do our prayers. Your brother, myself, I may or may not have left my watch at the prayer room. It was this watch, to be specific. I accidentally forgot this watch in the prayer room as I was like getting ready to wash up and pray. I left it in the prayer room, and I didn't realize until we got back to the Airbnb, and I was like, nope, my watch is gone. So the next morning we had a quick breakfast. We took an Uber straight to the mall. Eventually we found the watch. I signed for it. I took it back. Very happy that obviously I just showed you the watch, so it's definitely back. And then we walked around the mall a little bit because we figured out there was a whole side of the mall that we didn't see, which included like the Ghibli store and the like aquarium, which we didn't walk into the aquarium. I'm glad we went there because they did a Pengu collab at the time, and I will show you because my brother loves penguins and they were doing a Pengu collab. So I got him this little Pengu swimming little keychain because he loves penguins, and obviously the aquarium was doing a Pengu collab, so how could I not? And I took some pictures with the inflatable pengus they had there. The night before, we had noticed that there's a anime store at the mall that unfortunately was closed, and it was kind of too late for us to go. So the next morning we were like, all right, well, we want to check out the anime store anyways. So it worked out. Walked into the anime store, and I think that's where I kind of spent the most money. So I got some gifts from my other friends that I already gave to them, so I can't show them that to you guys, but I can show you what I got my brother. I got him this manhwa print. Don't know what this is, but he said he wanted it. I got him this as well. Again, don't know what this is, but he said he wanted it. And then finally, I got him Solo Leveling, which if you didn't know was originally Korean. I think all 3 of these are originally Korean. So this is the Solo Leveling first volume manhwa in Korean from Korea. And then I got him the Haiku 10th anniversary print. For myself, I got me this Momo keychain from Dandadan. She looks dope, and it's got the little Momo character thing. I also got a Blue Lock Isugi little plaque. In between me going through personal stuff and then going to Korea, my brother forced me to watch Blue Lock. It did help me because it was like a very good mental reminder of like, you got to focus on your own ego sometimes to get places that you need to get. Make fun of me if you have to, but I've been putting the puzzle pieces together in my head like Isugi. That's all I'm gonna say. And then I got myself this very adorable Mao Mao stand from Apothecary Diaries. Great anime. Watch it. It was that night, I think, that we walked around so much at night that we would just ended up in a random residential like area, and we just kept walking. Like we just walked up the mountain and then down the mountain the other side. We ended up on the completely other side of town just because we kept walking. And we walked into this little like bodega type store. Like this old lady was just running the place, and then we just wanted waters, and she was super nice. And we just kept walking until it was super late, and we walked and talked and checked out the scenery and enjoyed the weather and drank water. So cool. I know it sounds kind of lame, but it was really, really cool. Thursday, we decided to go to the main palace. So we got dressed, we went to the palace. After the palace, we decided to go to the cultural Heritage Museum, which was behind the palace. You check that out. That was super cool because it like really heavily spoke about like Korean culture, about Korean history, family traditions in Korea, the importance of education, just all kinds of different stuff. And they even had a booth about photography and how that evolved in Korean culture. So that was really cool. And then we left and went to like this open area type place where they had like a little, I think like a weekly market thing, and they had little booths of like everybody did like little handmade trinkets. And then we walked into an art exhibit, which was like, it was like a Andy Warhol, Monet. It's called like From Monet to Warhol. And so they had a bunch of different art pieces in there, including like some Picasso, some Monet, a Van Gogh. It was great to see. Then we had dinner at a place that my buddy picked out randomly. It was fantastic, I can't even lie. And they actually, that was the first time we had food with like the little bibs. We put on like a little protective covering, because the first time we ate, it made it a complete mess. After that, we went to another night market area where they had like a bunch of food on the streets. And so we walked around, we had some food, and I wanted to try the kimchi pancakes, and my buddy wanted tteokbokki. So we found a place that had both. Unfortunately, we did not realize that they were both seafood items. I wanted just regular plain kimchi pancakes. It turned out it had squid in it. And so when I got it and I saw the squid in the kimchi pancake, now look, I'm a level. There's nothing necessarily wrong with eating squid, right? I'm not gonna be the guy to judge you for eating squid. I just know it's not my thing. But it got awkward pretty fast, and here's why. While I was trying to avoid eating the squid, the guy was kind of staring at me, and I think in his head he was like, oh, these foreigners just don't know how to eat this. He came up to me and he was trying to show me how to eat the squid. And so he took the chopsticks, he made like an entire bite of like the entire thing, like it was like the pancake with the squid in it. He dipped it in a little bit of soy sauce, and I thought he was gonna hand me the chopsticks. Instead, he brought the chopsticks to my mouth and was like, ah. And so I awkwardly sat there, opened my mouth, and allowed a 60-year-old Korean man to feed me squid on the street. It's not my proudest moment. I'll tell you, it was goddamn delicious. It was so good. Honestly, even the squid flavor was not bad at all. It was just a texture thing, and I couldn't get over it. Here I am, survived. I ate the squid. I definitely had to go home after that. That was the end of the day. We finished our food. We went back home. After that, Friday morning, this was our second Friday there now, we decided to go to the National Korean Museum. It was the biggest museum they had. The building was amazing from the outside. It was amazing from the inside. It was semi-interactive. We got to see a lot of cool stuff. And then we went to the museum gift store, in which we did some shopping. I bought 2 decks of cards. You know, I like collecting different decks of cards. Me and my brother do this. So I bought this deck of card with the sun and the moon, and then I bought this deck of card, which was like it's more natural, I think, treasures of Korea. So this one is based off of Korean paintings. This one is based off of like natural treasures in Korea. So both great decks of cards. I will actually upload a TikTok showing the actual cards. If you want to check out what the cards look like, go to my TikTok, link in the description. I got him a Korean good luck charm, this little fish. So it's this fish, it's a ceramic fish, and it has a little magnet on the end if you want to magnetize it. It comes in this little cloth that keeps it nicely protected in its box, and the box just slides on just like this. So Korean good luck charm for my brother. After that, we left and walked to a different market. In this market, we found people that make like tteokbokki on the streets, and they'll give it to you in like a little bag. So we ate street tteokbokki. We actually ate it like 2 or 3 times that day because it was so good and so affordable, and it wasn't like giant meal. It was like a little plate. One of the places actually had a quote on the wall for some reason. It was like a fancy quote, and the quote says, "Love does not consist in saying at each other, but in looking together in the same direction." So there's little life advice from a Korean tteokbokki place on the street. We then kept walking down the market. Again, very pretty. After that, we went downstairs to a underground market between two different train stations. All the stores are selling like either local merch. There was a bunch of like music stores that would sell like old vinyls, CDs, cassettes. It was like the music heaven. And there was a guy who was selling fake watches, and I almost bought a fake Rolex, but I was like, And then we went to another mall. I think this one is called the Coex Mall. It had a giant like food store, you know, your average stores, but it also had a giant movie theater, had a resting room where you could like pay a little bit to like take a 15-minute nap. It had another archery thing, which we did shoot more archery because it was so much fun. It had a billiards place. It had a bowling alley. It had a movie theater with a food court in the movie theater, other than the food court that's outside the movie theater. It was massive. This Coex Mall, no, it wasn't the Coex Mall. It was the Times Square Mall. Am I just dumb? But we had more tteokbokki after that, and then we took the train station to a rooftop pizza place, and it was so nice because we spent the last couple hours of the day just chilling at a rooftop with a view of the North Tower, and we were just drinking our drink, eating our pizza, enjoying the weather. My buddy and I had such an amazing bonding moment on that rooftop. There was also this really pretty girl. I'm gonna level with you guys for a little bit. Missed opportunities. Not talking to that girl was a missed opportunity, and that's all I'm gonna say about it. If you know me personally in real life, DM me, ask me about this girl. We kind of stayed up until the pizza place closed. So the next morning, we went and we just ate at the Lotte Mart because it has a little mini food court. It was pretty good actually for what it was. I think I got some, my buddy got some tteokbokki, and I think I got some like fried chicken bits. I didn't hate it. It was pretty good. After that, we went to kind of another underground thing. We wanted to buy some like K-pop stuff. We're not that big into K-pop, so we're looking for very specific items. So we kind of just went from one K-pop store to the next as we walked down the market. This day was kind of full of a lot of walking, checking out markets, just doing last minute shopping, because we just felt like we had 1 or 2 days left in Korea, and we really just wanted to get as much stuff that we wanted. So it included also going to Olive Young, which if you don't know what Olive Young is, it's like a famous, like, it's like the wall, like the Sephora of Korea, but instead of makeup, it's just like skincare, like cleansing, that's cosmetics at the same time. So we went to Olive Young. My buddy wanted to buy some stuff for his mom. I wanted to buy some stuff for my mom. He wanted to buy some stuff for himself. I wanted to buy some stuff for myself. So we did a lot of shopping where we're buying stuff. This isn't from Olive Young. This was from the mall, but I wanted to show you guys. So I bought myself a nonfiction cologne. It's called Neroli Dream. So I got myself a nonfiction Neroli Dream. I also got, it came with a body mist from the actual nonfiction. It was the giveaway. Ideal for Men sunscreen. This was apparently the best sunscreen they sold at Olive Young. I bought multi-texture color cream from OBGE, which is another men's health skin / hair brand for curly hair, which you guys know I have a little bit of a curl. I got my brother a bottle of cologne called Medina. It is also a Korean brand. He said the smell profile of this cologne is one he had been looking for a while, and it was a crazy coincidence that I found that the cologne I picked out for him was the smell that he was looking for. So I got my dad a cologne called Forment. The brand is called Forment. The actual cologne itself is called Cotton Hug. When they had it on display, it was just a regular bottle of cologne. However, when she handed me the box, she handed me the Hello Kitty collab of the same men's cologne. This is so funny because like my dad was like, "What'd you buy me?" This is what the bottle looks like. It is it's a bottle of cologne with a giant Hello Kitty head as the cap, and that is just the funniest thing that could have happened, purely out of coincidence, nowhere planned. Very good cologne. From the music stores, I got two different things. I got the Korean exclusive Rosie album. I was holding upside down. I actually really like this album. On the inside, It's pretty cool. Korean exclusive. Crazy, because the store I got it from was selling it for 17,000 won, which is about like $15, maybe a little less. I went to another store that's like a more popular K-pop store, and they were selling the exact same album for 37,000 won, which is like 30 something dollars. And it's like double the price basically, because we went from like a low-key store to a very popular store. From the same store, I also got the Parasite soundtrack on CD. It's a great film, great soundtrack, and it was there. And so now I have 2 more CDs to add to my CD physical media collection, because long live physical media. While we were shopping and walking around, we also saw posters for something called the Chainsaw Man experience. And when we looked it up, it turns out there was 2 experiences happening in Korea at the time: the Chainsaw Man experience and the Conjuring Annabelle universe experience. And so we decided to check both of things out. While we were walking at night, we also found a giant poster of the Demon Slayer movie. Guys, you have absolutely no idea how excited I am for this Demon Slayer movie. I am so insanely excited for September 12th that I can't. I'm so excited. The reality is, when we were in Korea, they were actually showing the movie in theaters, Japanese dub with Korean subtitles. So there was no way of me understanding what they're saying, and my only option would have been to read the animated lips. But it was so cool being in a country where like the buses were covered with like Demon Slayer art. Buildings had giant like billboards of like Akaza and like Tanjiro and other characters. So that was really cool. And then finally, it was time for the F1 race. So we found another rooftop. We sat down, I put on the F1 race, watched qualies. That was the end of that night. The next morning, we went to see the experience, the Chainsaw Man experience and the Annabelle experience. The Annabelle experience, we were not allowed to photograph. The Chainsaw Man experience, we also weren't really allowed to photograph, but I took some pictures. There were areas where you can take pictures. I got this from the Annabelle experience. It's a little fan. They just give it to you because it can be really hot in there, because you're like crawling through sometimes you're crawling through a little room, sometimes you're like in a tight space. From the Chainsaw Man experience, I got this little mini art book. How did I accidentally? What a coincidence. Crazy. And I also got a pair of sunglasses from Blue Elephant. They are in my car right now. But the cool part is that they did come with a full-on little, like a really nice little leather case that has a cleaning cloth and everything. It's leather, it's magnetic, for 25 USD. I have pictures wearing them, so I will be putting pictures of me wearing them, so you won't be like you're like, oh my god, he didn't show us the sunglasses. Calm down. I'm not stupid. I'm just an idiot. That kind of wraps up the Korea trip. Final thing we did was more food. There was like a couple of things that I might have missed here and there, including like Focal Point is a cafe that we ate a lot at because they had amazing pastries and really good coffee. That wraps up the Korea trip. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I want to talk about the London trip. However, I feel like this video has already gone on long enough. I've been recording this specific shot for 40 minutes. Thank you guys so much for watching. If this video gets 10 likes, I will upload another one talking about the UK trip. And if it doesn't get 10 likes, I will probably still upload another one talking about the UK trip. For now, peace out. I'll see you guys in the next one.